Coming up this week, twice the news stories for you, so buckle up and hold on. We've got a ton of EV news to cover. Stick around. That's right, I've got the top EV news stories from the week to share with you, including some two-wheeled EV news, a story about an EV race team preparing for a 25-hour endurance race, and a late-breaking update last night from Elon Musk about the Hertz order, and we'll start off with that news right off the bat. However, as always, before we get started with the news this week, I want to thank our podcast partner, Titan Auto and Tire in Moseley, Virginia, for their support. Titan is one of the very few independent shops in Central Virginia that are qualified to work on EVs and hybrids, and from hybrids to Hummers, they fix everything. For more information and to schedule an appointment for your vehicle, head over to TitanAutoTire.com. Okay, so the lead story this week is one that everybody and their brother is talking about. Hertz announced that they intend to order 100,000 Teslas by the end of 2022 and install a new EV charging infrastructure across the company's global operations. In a press release out on the 25th, they say, quote, as consumer interest in electric vehicles skyrockets, Hertz today is announcing a significant investment to offer the largest EV rental fleet in North America and one of the largest in the world. This includes an initial order of 100,000 Teslas by the end of 2022 and a new EV charging infrastructure across the company's global operations, end quote. Today, 40% of U.S. consumers say they are likely to consider an electric vehicle the next time they are in the market for a new car, according to Pew Research. Global EV sales skyrocketed 200% in the last year and will likely continue to grow with commitments from global automakers to increase EV sales. For example, in August, 3 U.S. automakers pledged to boost EV sales 40 to 50% by the end of the decade. The growth is powered by electric vehicles' high efficiency, positive user experience, and climate change benefits, coupled with battery breakthroughs and rapidly expanding charging networks. EV drivers also benefit from lower maintenance and fuel costs. Beginning in early November and expanding through year-end, customers of Hertz will be able to rent a Tesla Model 3 at airport and neighborhood locations in the U.S. markets and select cities in Europe. Hertz is also installing thousands of chargers throughout its location network. Customers who rent a Tesla Model 3 will have access to 3,000 Tesla supercharging stations throughout the US and Europe as well. With the current order, EVs will comprise more than 20% of Hertz's global fleet and is expected to be supported by a combination of Level 2 and DC fast charging in approximately 65 markets by the end of 2022 and more than 100 markets by the end of 2023. Hertz said these ambitions could be affected by factors outside of their control, such as semiconductor chip shortages and other constraints. Interim CEO Mark Fields had this to say on the matter. Quote, electric vehicles are now mainstream and we've only just begun to see rising global demand and interest. The new Hertz is going to lead the way as a mobility company, starting with the largest EV rental fleet in North America and a commitment to grow our EV fleet and provide the best rental and recharging experience for leisure and business customers around the world, end quote. To spread the word about its leadership on EV rentals, Hertz is partnering with 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady for a new Hertz Let's Go campaign. 2 new ads, Plugged In and Speed, show Brady renting, recharging, and using an EV at a Hertz airport location. The spots use humor and Brady's signature Let's Go game day rallying cry to underscore Hertz's reputation for excellence, speed, and ease throughout the travel experience. And of course, Tom Brady chimed in saying, quote, Hertz is changing the game when it comes to the future of mobility and has come through for me time and time again. Although the company has been around for over 100 years, their constant evolution, especially now, is something that is amazing to be a part of. I've been driving an EV for years, and knowing Hertz is leading the way with their electric fleet speaks to how the world is changing and the way companies are approaching being environmentally and socially conscious. I've always loved how easy and convenient Hertz makes it for me when I'm traveling to my favorite places like New York, LA, and Tampa, and I can't wait to see what they continue to have in store, end quote. You know, it occurs to me that he didn't say one of his favorite places was Boston. I'm sure that wasn't left out on purpose. So 100,000 cars by the end of 2022. That's 4.2 billion in sales if comprised of all Model 3 vehicles, making it the largest order of electric vehicles in history. And no, Tesla is not giving Hertz any discount. That was actually confirmed by Elon Musk on Twitter. And that does diverge from the traditional discounts that automakers give to rental car companies. And next, building on that news, Hertz also announced that they would have an exclusive partnership with Uber to offer rental services of up to 50,000 Tesla vehicles to Uber drivers by 2023. This could expand then further to 150,000 vehicles, or a total order of 200,000 cars from Tesla. And by getting a Tesla through Hertz for Uber drivers, that offers a lot of benefits versus just driving your regular gas car. Of course, your gas savings, but also higher earnings potential, access to the Tesla supercharger network and Uber's exclusive EVgo discounts, and other financial benefits through their Green Future program, which provides incentives such as $1 more per trip, up to $4,000 annually for drivers to transition from their gas-powered vehicles over to EVs. And Uber and Hertz have partnered since 2016 to provide drivers with vehicle rental options. With this partnership, Hertz will kick off the program by providing up to 50,000 vehicles by 2023 exclusively to Uber drivers. If successful, the program could then expand to 150,000 Teslas during the next 3 years. Participating drivers receive a preferred weekly rate for Hertz rentals, which includes insurance, basic maintenance, and unlimited miles. The Hertz Uber offering could also make it easier for drivers to source a vehicle by eliminating the long-term commitments that buying or leasing can often require. Actually, it comes to mind that maybe this would be a good idea just for somebody who wants a car to go out there and drive Uber for as much as you need to, get free insurance, basic maintenance, and unlimited miles on that vehicle. All you got to do is drive for Uber and take care of some trips, and then you've got yourself a Model 3 or potentially a Model Y. Most likely Model 3, honestly. I'm sticking with that being the most likely thing that they're going to be doing. But, I mean, hey, put in a little bit of work and you've got a free car. And the Hertz Tesla deal, as much as it sounds great for Uber drivers, potentially, the deal hit the ears of investors, and Tesla's stock rose to more than $1,000 per share and increased their market cap to over $1 trillion. Now, that might seem a little bonkers. Even Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, expressed surprise at the velocity of the surge, saying, quote, "Strange that moved valuation, as Tesla is very much production ramp problem, not a demand problem." Tesla is the first car maker to join the elite club of trillion-dollar companies that includes Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Alphabet, which is Google's parent company. And the final bit on this is that sometimes it is good that the podcast gets delayed slightly, because as of last night, there is an update to this story. Elon Musk tweeted last night that Tesla has yet to sign a contract with Hertz. The tweet from Musk seemingly contradicts everything that I've just told you about the announcement and the advertisement that was released by Hertz last week. So maybe there's a deal in the works, but nothing's been signed yet. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I'm sure in the coming weeks we will find out more. So I have a few thoughts about all of this. Tesla can't make any more cars right now. They're basically maxed out. Having more demand doesn't change that. They will sell every car they make for years to come. So having 100,000 or even maybe 200,000 Model 3s and Ys on order from Hertz means that likely it will be harder to get a Tesla if you're the average consumer, or at the very least, it will take longer. And pricing will also likely increase even more, as happens when supply is low and demand is high. That's just basic economics. Secondly, I don't think this order from Hertz will include any Model S or Model X, and that's just my thought on it. Those vehicles are rather expensive, and I don't really see how they would fit into the rental fleet model. Maybe a few, like a very, very select few, for some of their more elite programs. I know Hertz did used to offer a Model S in San Francisco for rent. It was like $300 or $400 a day, something like that. I mean, it was quite a bit. And then lastly, I looked into renting a Tesla through Uber as an Uber driver, because I still am signed up to be an Uber driver. I just never, I don't know if you cancel it or what, but I could. So I looked it up, and Hertz deal that they're giving Uber drivers is basically $300 a week. So in order to make that much money from trips, you'd need to be doing very well as an Uber driver, most likely either very part-time or full-time, like a lot of hours per week. But hey, honestly, if you have a gas car already, then a lot of those costs can be factored into the equation. Once again, insurance is included. That is a big part for minimizing costs. So if you don't have to worry about insurance, you don't have to worry about maintenance, you don't have to worry about gas, and you don't have to worry about miles because, once again, it's unlimited miles. That's a really, really great value. So if you're an Uber driver out there listening to this and you drive a gas car, look into the option of getting a Hertz rental or a Tesla through Hertz as a rental because honestly, if you're doing it full-time already anyway, this seems like a pretty good deal. Speaking of rented Teslas, a long-range Model S just shattered the EV Cannonball record previously set by Kyle Connor in the Porsche Taycan. Ryan Levinson and Josh Allen crossed the country in a new Model S they rented on Turo in a time of 42 hours and 17 minutes. That's 2 hours faster than the previous record, yet still very shy of the gas-powered vehicle record of 25 hours and 39 minutes set in May of last year. Road and Track shares the timetables dictated that Ryan Levinson leave Manhattan in the middle of the afternoon. So as he describes it, just after setting off on his attempt to break the electric cross-country Cannonball record, he was going 3 miles an hour in stop-and-go traffic. That's the kind of setback that would take him until Texas to make up the time, but it didn't matter. He had broken the record once in 2017 and would break it again on this journey. Levinson, founder of EV promotion and rental company The Kilowatts, planned the run as part of his broader mission to demonstrate the capability and excitement of modern EVs. Moreover, it was a chance to show off just how robust Tesla's supercharging network has become. Electric vehicles typically charge faster at lower states of charge, so Levinson's route relied on a large amount of short stops rather than longer top-offs. He'd usually arrive with less than 10% charge and leave with around 50%. Those took an average of 18 minutes across his 24 stops, a total of just over 7 hours sitting still. The strong network of chargers combined with the 405-mile range of the Model S long range allowed them to break the record despite the Manhattan congestion and stop-and-go construction traffic outside of Albuquerque. Because of those setbacks and a few charging snags, Levinson says there's between an hour and an hour and a half of extra time in this car if you could manage a perfect run. Improving it beyond that likely would require a different car, more V3 250 kilowatt superchargers, or a modified car. This Model S, though, was unmodified. In fact, like the solo record-setting Mustang, this was a rental car. After having the delivery of his Model S delayed into the winter, Levinson did an unlimited mileage Turo rental on a 2021 long-range model. Then he called the owner to clarify that he intended to drive it 7,000 miles over just a few days. The owner okayed it. Levinson swapped the wheels for the run, ditching the less efficient 21-inch wheels in favor of Tesla's more aerodynamic 19-inch Tempest wheels. And that was the only modification for the Los Angeles to New York reverse Cannonball leg. On the way back, which is historically the official record, Levinson overinflated the tires. But besides that, everything was standard. There was no extra energy storage, no clever disguise for the vehicle, no laser jammers, and not even a radar detector. Besides 1 hour where they tried to play with an old unit and quickly gave up due to false alerts, Levinson and his co-driver relied solely on the Waze app's warning about police. Now, despite this, the team did manage to top out the long range at 155 miles per hour, but the sustained speeds weren't quite as high, as there's still a benefit to driving more efficiently. And as EV endurance and charging speeds improve, though, expect the electric car record to inch closer to the overall record of 25 hours and 39 minutes. And given how quickly the EV record has fallen since 2017, it might not be as far away from doing that as you think. Personally, my money's on the Lucid Air Range Edition to be the car to beat for a record like this, if it can charge fast enough. Next, Tesla is slowing down the rollout of FSD Beta to increase a focus on safety. As federal regulators continue their probe into Tesla's advanced driver assistance systems, the electric automaker is implementing a new FSD Beta software update plan going forwards. Tesla CEO Elon Musk explained the situation via reply on Twitter, as is usual these days. Thus far, Tesla has been following a rollout plan that offers the latest FSD Beta update about every 2 weeks, and the update only goes to folks with the top Tesla safety scores. For example, only drivers with a score of 100 were able to get the software update initially, then 99, 98, and so on. Interestingly, rather than using Tesla's official Twitter account or Elon Musk sending a direct tweet, the CEO replied to Holmar's catalog to keep Tesla owners up to date with the FSD Beta rollout plans. The CEO says Tesla is going to slow down the upload rate of future FSD Beta software releases. More specifically, after the QA fleet has the update, it will go to Tesla employee cars for a day, and then after that, Tesla will begin slowly releasing it to owners at about 1,000 cars per hour. This is likely in response to the most recent update that had to be rolled back for safety reasons. Tesla's full self-driving beta program has been extremely controversial, with many videos coming to light showing it's making bad decisions in very dangerous situations. So perhaps slowing down the release isn't the worst idea they've had yet. Okay, moving on from Tesla to Mitsubishi. The redesigned Outlander plug-in hybrid SUV has gotten a refresh and now gets an all-electric range of 54 miles, which makes it perfect for 99% of people who want electric for around town and gas for longer trips. Motor1 reports the Nissan Rogue-based SUV can go 54 miles, but that is on the WLTC rating, not an EPA official rating. So the EPA range is likely to be a little bit less, but either way, even if it was 40 miles, this is great, and this is all thanks to the next generation hybrid system that utilizes 2 electric motors, front and rear, powered by a 20 kilowatt-hour battery. And though there aren't any specific power figures released, Mitsubishi says that the combined motor output is increased by around 40%. And as rare as it has been, the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid has always been a great vehicle. So hopefully they will make a lot more, and many more people will get a taste of what it means to drive on electric power. And on to Toyota, they have finally released and unveiled the official bZ4X. While they did reveal it earlier and we kind of got a taste of what it would be like at the Shanghai Auto Show, they hadn't released any specifications until now. At an event in Japan this week, the automaker has fully unveiled the bZ4X ahead of deliveries starting next year. While Toyota has offered all-electric vehicles in China in the past, the bZ4X could be considered its first battery electric vehicle since it's the first to use a BEV-dedicated platform and be available globally. And with regards to the names, the BZ stands for Beyond Zero, which is Toyota's latest electrification strategy and sort of a sub-brand that it's testing for upcoming electric vehicles, of course, starting with the bZ4X. And in terms of specs, we finally have some more details. Toyota has been clear that every spec it released today is for the Japanese version of the car, and details on the US version are expected to come out next month, but the information we have should give us a good idea of what to expect. The vehicle is equipped with a 71.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and as for what range it enables, Toyota's only releasing right now what they're calling the cruising range per charge, which it claims to be 310 miles WLTC for the front-wheel drive version and 286 miles for the all-wheel drive version. The front-wheel drive version is equipped with a single 150 kilowatt motor, while the all-wheel drive is equipped with an 80 kilowatt motor on each axle. The DC fast charging capability is apparently capped at 150 kilowatts, and Toyota says that it can charge up to 80% in about 30 minutes. The impression that I get from hearing those specs is that perhaps the batteries are the constraint in terms of power input from regenerative braking and charging and power output. That 150 kilowatt max seems to be the most that Toyota is comfortable with. In terms of other specs, it makes for a decent entry to mid-level SUV in the electric space. Powertrain specs aside, Toyota clearly has been paying attention to the features that other automakers have been offering on their EVs and packed the bZ4X with a lot of cool tech. First of all, it is capable of bidirectional charging for vehicle-to-home capability. It's also offered with an optional solar roof with which Toyota says can generate electricity equivalent of 1,800 kilometers of driving distance per year. Toyota is also offering the bZ4X with an optional wing-shaped steering wheel, which the automaker claims improves visibility, much like Tesla's yoke that we see in the Model S. However, what Toyota has done that Tesla should is improved the lock-to-lock steering to about 150 degrees, eliminating the need to change grips when steering, so you don't have to go hand over hand, and that greatly reduces the burden on the driver for a U-turn, garage parking, and on winding roads that are very low speed. The steering feeling is improved through independently controlling the steering torque that the driver feels and the steering angle of the tires. They are actually separate. Steering characteristics can be changed with the drive mode selection. This also blocks unnecessary vibrations from the tires and only transmits necessary feedback vibrations to the driver. More details about pricing and availability of the Toyota bZ4X are expected to be released in the coming months, and the electric SUV is expected to land first in Japan mid-2022 and then later on our shores. Now on to some two-wheeled EVs. The latest word from SONDORS, the maker of the $5,000 Motorcycle, is that demand is high and would-be owners may have to wait for more than a year to take delivery. Prices are also expected to rise. According to the company, reservations for 2022 deliveries will close at midnight on November 2nd. After that time, riders should expect a price increase of up to 20% or more. Or in other words, the price could climb by any number above or below $1,000. Electrek writes the original price of $5,000 was one of the biggest draws for the Motorcycle, though the sleek design and claimed 80-mile-an-hour top speed certainly helped. Even assuming several $100 plus another 1,000 or so thrown on top soon after the introductory pricing ends, the Motorcycle is still set to be one of the most affordable highway-capable electric motorcycles available in North America. Competitors, such as Zero Motorcycles, offer entry-level models that are still several $1,000s higher than the Motorcycle. Other low-cost electric motorcycles are starting to enter the market, but the Motorcycle's innovative and eye-catching design still sets it far apart from the rest of the pack. The one-piece aluminum frame has a large negative space where the gas tank would be on a traditional gas-powered motorcycle. While riders can leave the space empty if they like the look, additional accessories will be offered to fill that cavity. Those accessories include a 3,000 watt-hour auxiliary battery, which is an addition to the 4,000 watt-hour main pack, a level 2 charger, or a storage box. With a claimed 80 miles of range at city speeds and closer to 50 to 60 miles with mixed riding, the stock battery and level 1 wall charger will likely be sufficient for most commuter-level riders. Until we see motorcycles actually roll off the production line, though, this exercise remains largely academic. The clock is ticking down to the Q4 delivery timeline that SONDORS has promised, so with any luck, we'll get a real look at some production motorcycles soon. And last week, I reported on Energica's contract with MotoE coming to a close, and actually, I said that I'd be excited to see what's coming next. Well, we didn't have to wait long to find out. Starting in 2023, the season after MotoE's contract with Energica ends, and then running through 2026, MotoE is going to have a new sole supplier. That will be Ducati. And of course, Ducati has a rich history in motorcycle racing. And this means that, just like Energica, they will not only be providing individual bike components, it also means that Ducati will be building entire electric motorcycles for the racetrack. There's just one problem. Ducati doesn't make any electric motorcycles. Ducati CEO Claudio Domenicali said during the MotoE announcement, quote, "We test our innovations and our futuristic technological solutions on circuits all over the world and then make exciting and desirable products available to Ducatisti," end quote. So what they're planning on doing is designing a bike for the track and then after that, bringing that to be a production model. Maybe. Their stance on making an electric motorcycle for the road has waffled over the years. In 2019, for example, Domenicali said that the company, quote, "was not far from beginning production of electric motorcycles," end quote. But then 2 years later, Ducati VP of Sales Francesco Milicia said, quote, "Will we produce an electric Ducati soon? No," end quote. However, a lot can change from year to year. For one thing, Ducati's rivals, including Harley-Davidson, BMW, and Triumph, have all at least announced plans for building electric motorcycles. Secondly, Ducati is part of Volkswagen Group, and like essentially every other automaker, Volkswagen and its brands are charging hard towards electric models. So it would seem that that includes Ducati as well. Or at least we can hope that the topic of production electric Ducati motorcycles isn't idle speculation. At the MotoE announcement, Domenicali followed the line quoted above with this one. Quote, "I am convinced that once again we will build on the experience we have had in the world of racing competition to transfer them and apply them also on production bikes." End quote. Ducati's press release says it even clearer. Quote, "The goal for participating in MotoE is to study how to produce, as soon as the technology allows, a Ducati electric vehicle that is sporty, light, thrilling, and able to satisfy all enthusiasts." End quote. Officially, Ducati hasn't confirmed anything about what its first production electric motorcycle could look like, nor has it commented on what kinds of technologies it could use. However, Domenicali repeatedly stressed the importance of lightness during the MotoE announcement, and that extends as much to the batteries and their chemistries as it does to the rest of the bike. So this isn't just as simple as shoving an electric motor into an existing frame. Plus, even after Ducati takes over MotoE supplier duties from Energica, a production bike won't materialize immediately. It takes time for racing lessons to make it onto the street. As a result, Domenicali estimates that a production Ducati EV won't arrive on the road until 2025 to 2030. And last is a story I want you guys to follow along with. Entropy Racing with their EVSR is looking to make history early next month as the first electric race car to finish a 24-hour plus endurance race. And all of this in a field of gas-powered cars utilizing a hot swap battery technology. Charlie Greenhouse and the Entropy Racing team have been working tirelessly on testing not only the swappable battery packs, but also a team of volunteers to conduct pit stops in as little as a minute and a half. In a recent YouTube video, Greenhouse explained, quote, "Because of the nature of what we've got to do at Thunderhill, we will have as many as 10 or 11 packs, all of them charging at the same time. We're going to do something that we've never done before, and that is charge outside of the car," end quote. During the race, the driver will bring the EVSR into the pits, and the volunteer pit crew will lift the one-piece body up and out of the way, exposing the packs, which will then get disconnected and removed from the chassis of the car. New, fully charged packs will then get installed in their place, the body lowered and fastened, and the car will get on its way. The system, all of the quick connect parts, and the methods of attaching the battery packs to the car have all been developed by Entropy Racing. Let me show you exactly what this is going to look like. Here's the team practicing a pit stop while they were at New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Jack, down! Jack, up! Power on, Jack, down! Body up! Body down!
For more information or to follow along with the team's progress, go to evsr.net or follow them on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So that's your show for this week. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I know it went a little long. There was a lot to cover. If this continues where there's just so much news, maybe I'll just split it into 2 like I did last week. But if you are enjoying this, please share this with your friends and anybody you think would also enjoy this, and anybody that's interested in electric vehicles. I invite your feedback via email to hello@ev-resource.com and encourage you to always leave a comment on the YouTube video. And don't forget to subscribe so that you'll get all of the future shows delivered to you automatically. If you want to listen to any of the previous podcast shows, you can find them on the webpage under the podcast section and on many of the major podcast platforms. Thank you so much for being with me, and I'll catch you next week.